Hey guys, really quickly while I'm walking, I just charged my phone tonight and I'm headed to sleep. I wanted to tell everybody really quickly, I've just had this eerie feeling and I had a dream. There's a song by JID, I think, where the sample is cop shot the kid, cop shot the kid, cop shot the kid, cop shot the kid. It might be Pusha T. It might be Kanye and Pusha T. Cop shot the kid, cop shot the kid. And I had a dream there was a child, like somebody hovering over me saying, as the song was playing, it was going, cop shot the kid, cop shot the kid, cop shot the kid. So I wanted to say that just in case anything happens, because I was shot at twice last week, and I don't want to give the police any more drama about me, because I figure the only people that knew I was there was the cops. So I also wanted to say that, just to reiterate, when I was 9, they illegally beat my father and we lost everything, and in the process they also hurt me very badly, and they got pepper spray on a 9-year-old's face, and I had to sleep the whole night with the pepper spray. Then, after I bought a Dodge Magnum with my Dogecoin money, they were targeting me and harassing me in my apartment for months, from November to February of 2021, I think. November 2021 to 2022 February. And whether or not my neighbor was really calling every day, or if they were just showing up to see what they could find, like gather information about the guy with the new car in the public housing that wore Timbs and a chain and a snapback and had a neck tattoo, that was seen walking around town with girls of color. For whatever reason, and look, what animal left these tracks? A small animal walked up here during the storm. Yeah, at one point they had 7 cops outside my door for a noise complaint. 7. Like 3 cruisers full of cops showed up at my house. And I just freestyled through the door. I put on my music and I freestyled for probably a half hour until they left. And then I opened my window and sat outside the window smoking a Black and Mild and freestyling. And I was good. Police shudder when they open my file. I would be afraid of what's churning inside of my stomach bile, so you best leave me alone when I'm outside smoking a Black and Mild, because I'm known to get riled when wild up. I'm known to get wild when riled up. And I'm about to go tyrant on all these 2-timers before the time is up. I haven't been connecting to God as much because of the immediate trauma that follows. But then when I left home, because my mother exaggerated to police, I said I'm going to get my car battery charger. She told them I'm coming to hurt her. I don't know why. She locked the door. She had just had a heart attack, 3 heart attacks in a row, and had to be hospitalized for a month, I think, or maybe a week, down in Springfield, Massachusetts. Very recent to that event. So I went around to the window just to make sure she's okay, and she's holding a knife and smiling like this. Hurry, hurry, hurry on the phone. So I take my battery charger and car battery. I walk into the building and the police show up and they don't say anything. They're like, "Are you Casey O'Brien?" I said, "Well, if you want my ID, it's in my apartment." And they just grab me, pin me against the wall. I lift my arms up. They can't put my arms down. I'm like, "Talk to me, have a conversation with me. I'm right here. Whatever you're doing, stop. You don't even know who I am." And they pepper spray me, put me on the ground, drag me on the carpet so I had rug burn. Somehow pepper spray got from my face to my arms. So it was, and then they didn't wash my eyes. And then I went to jail for the weekend, and they did not wash my eyes in jail, and they didn't feed me for the first day and a half, I think. And I tried to get them to wash my eyes, and they wouldn't. Eventually, I got it out with the toilet water and the sheet, but it kept coming in my eyes. No diddy. And Sheriff did a bunch of like posturing weird stuff, had me on my knees to put the travel cuffs, and then hovered over me with his dick in my face. No diddy. And the judge was tyrant piece of shit, stared me down until I submitted, like, what are you doing? Why are you looking at me like that? When I didn't, and I just stared back at him at first, because I was out of it. I had been awake for days, so he stared at me and I just stared back at him. And then the cop grabbed the guard, grabbed his gun and stepped forward like that. And then after that, they slandered my reputation. They charged me for disorderly conduct for screaming when I had pepper spray in my eyes. When I screamed, "You did this to my mom. It's your fault." They charged me with disorderly for that. So the town, I used to wake up every day and fight because I wanted to save Vermont. I wanted to make it a better place. I wanted to bring systematic change to the institutions. I wanted to work out every day. I was training every day, even through a brain injury and even through all the trauma I had endured before with pedophiles and shit like that. And a brain injury, I made it through. I thought that I won with the nice car and the clothes and things were gonna go well. And it just got worse. So then I left, and everywhere I went was just cops pulling me over and screaming at me, pulling me over and trying to get me to submit to their will, trying to make me say I understand, illegally traffic stopping me. So I'm just keeping me in that perpetual state of fear. And my mom filed a restraining order. I don't know why. Then I told her that what she's done to me hurts me so much inside. I wish that I could pay her back, and I hope God gives me the opportunity to do so. And if there is an apocalypse, I'm gonna kill her. If there's an apocalyptic scenario and we're stuck outside in the zombie apocalypse and she shows up at my house, she's gonna be the bait. She's gonna get tied to a tree, pepper sprayed, and then set to roam until she gets eaten. So the cops tried to get me arrested for that. And then with the restraining order, she would have my aunt reach out to me, implying that there was a positive relationship and she wanted to talk. And then when I messaged her, or I addressed my aunt trying to talk to her, she would call the police, and that violated the order even though she started it. So she would bait me to get me arrested for violating the order. So several times I was taken into custody just trying to make my life better and being out surviving. Plattsburgh, they illegally searched my car. They threw me out of the car. Then they stalked me and followed me a bunch. That's just what they do. Eventually, I moved into a motel for the motel program to get away from it. And I made a lot of friends that were in and out of jail and came from a different life than I did. And that taught me a lot about self-respect, and it validated a lot of what white America had taught me I was crazy and wrong. They called me a real one. So I like that. And then I kind of got payback because the cops that hated me so much got to see me with a bunch of real guys that they were afraid of. Then I moved back to Burlington and was immediately arrested, and then tons of cop interactions, and they stole my car. Then I hooked up with a cop, and she told me that she steals sexual energy to feed demons, and that rewards her, and that's why she drives a Challenger. She just flat out told me that. But she also told me she cried when I gave her the first ever orgasm she's had in her life. And she has a kid. And she cried, and then on the way to drop me off back at my car, we passed this barn and a silo, and she broke down crying and said, I had a dream that there was a boy that taught me how to fly at this silo, and I've never seen this silo in my life. And I was like, that's how it works, babe. And then I hooked up with her for a couple more months on and off, and it just got worse and worse and worse. Eventually she said that the demon that was possessing her, that I was like, I don't believe it. She said the demon that was possessing her possessed her son, so she choked her son out and almost killed him. So I called the police, and I called DCF, and I'm like, there needs to be something changed with that. I don't like that. I can't sit well letting that go. If it happens again, it needs to be known at least, and her parents aren't going to tell people because she's in a custody battle. So the police, when I talked to the detective, he gave me shit. He was like, weren't you in the retreat? implying I'm a nut job, and I'm like, is that relevant? So I've seen a guy and his girlfriend down at the skate park in Burlington, just sitting there, and then the cops show up. The cops try to get in the truck, and the guy gets out the side and runs away. And then the entire precinct was there. I think there was like 5 cruisers, and there was, I would say, 9 cops. And 3 of them tackled him, cuffed him, maced him. I think they tased him. He was screaming a lot, so they really hurt him. And then after he was already taken away, the 5 cops surrounded this pregnant girl and just pushed their belly against hers, and all 3 of them were hovering over her, looking down on her like this with their belly pressed against the child, trying to intimidate her. And then I helped her get home. I didn't have space on my phone, I think, so I just put the flashlight on. I think my phone was dead. So I shined up my flashlight at them, making them think I was recording next to my phone, and they just shined all their lights back in my eyes from the cruiser, and then they drove away. A ton of other stuff happened. A lot of traumatizing experiences with having to fight for my life in the cold against homeless people and schizophrenic people. So I at least got to see what those guys are really like, and that I'm not like that. Because my mom's been trying to convince me I'm schizophrenic for years. So I hung out with a lot of real schizophrenics that tried to kill me, and I can really see the difference. And I'm just a spiritual being having a human experience. It just is what it is. It's quantum physics. If you think I'm crazy, you're not smart enough to understand. And I probably haven't conveyed the best version of myself because of the circumstances I'm in and I've endured. So this year, a lot more cop interactions, just pulling me over to intimidate me as I'm door dashing. Sometimes screaming in my face, refusing to leave until I give my ID. Even if I present it to them, they threaten to escalate the situation if I don't hand my ID over to them, and then they just sit in the car holding the ID, sometimes up to 30 minutes. Just because, and I have so much psychological trauma that what they're doing affects me a lot worse than they think it does. And they know why they're doing it. And I think it's illegal. I only have to present my ID. They don't have to yank it from me and hold it over me to show that they can stop me as long as they want. They own the roads. Even though their job is a privilege, we have a right, as long as we're not commercially using the road. We have a right to the highways as American citizens. But, and I know in the police report they say, watch out for Casey, he might be a sovereign citizen. So pretty much every police department knows about my YouTube channel. The cop, Tomlinson, put in the thing to watch out, I might be a sovereign citizen. So they weren't here because Morristown Water and Light wanted me off the property. They put in the report. They knew where I was and were targeting me. Let me get my lighter real quick. I talked for 14 minutes already. I just wanted to say that now they've been following me. They've been following me for months, just following me around town. In that video, just kind-hearted conversations with people when I was buying the propane tank, and I recorded that police officer. He went around to Hannaford's. He saw me at a dollar store. He followed me into the Hannaford's lot. He slowly drove by me behind the Hannaford's. The Hannaford's has an exit, so if he was really patrolling, he would go further down the Hannaford's and go back out along the parking lot and check for more places. But instead, he just stopped right around the corner, turned his car around, which is really difficult to do in such a cramped space, just so that he could drive by me slowly instead of on his side of the parking lot where you're supposed to go right. He went in the left side of the parking lot against the cars just to be as close to me as possible before he drove off when I pulled my phone out to record it. To them sitting outside here, shining the flashlight in my eyes from the car, seeing me standing there, knowing I wear this coat, knowing it's only me there, knowing my bike at this point, and still choosing to drive slowly around me. Sometimes they come here and they sit in the parking lot illegally. I don't know if they're allowed to just sit here, especially when people are working, and then just tap the siren. If someone can find the video where I posted that, so I don't have to go through 200 videos, I'll cash app you $5. If you want it, I got you. And then mysteriously, when the cops disappear and they stop patrolling, so the cop was doing it every night that I was here. The cops stop when I stop going. Then they start up again when they see me around town. So I hid for a couple days. They never showed up. But then when they see me at McDonald's, then they drive slowly around here. It's only when I'm in the town do they come over to this area where they technically trespass on the property, saying they're patrolling, but really they're looking to just get near me and harass me and intimidate me. So I want to say that, like, I'll sleep out here in the woods, then I go into public and I'm fine, but I've recognized tonight that every single time I see a pair of headlights, I react as though it's a cop coming to kill me or hurt me, or it's just I'm just expecting trauma now because of everything the police have done. I didn't even mention Randolph and people lying that I was threatening to kill them because they didn't like me, and the police trying to search me without my consent, and I called 6 different departments around Vermont to let them know what happened and who they were, and then to have them come back and they would swerve around my car, they would swerve at my car, they would threaten to tow it, and they didn't. And then they only towed it when I called them and said, hey, sorry about the car, I've been trying to get a hold of you guys, but my phone situation is bad. I have a situation now where I can at least call you and let you know the car should be gone in 5 days because somebody's coming to look at it to buy it from me as long as the cats are still intact. And then the next day they took it from me, and they have not returned my calls since. They've arrested me since, but they have not returned my calls about getting my car back, knowing that it has precious childhood mementos and pictures that I can never get back and thousands of dollars of music equipment in the back. They have not talked to me at all about it. So, more police brutalities, more abuse of power, more intimidation, harassment, trying to strike fear in me for some stupid game where they're going against themselves, and they're going so far as to do this. I'm probably going to have trauma for the rest of my life. Where every time I hear a car rev, I'm expecting a white person to be insane and angry at something that I have no control over and coming to take it out on me. And when I feel good, the crows are here. So cops, creeps, cunts, crackheads, crows, chaos, and corruption. And all I do, I'm respectful of everywhere I go. I try to make it a better place until the community treats me like shit. And then I'm just maybe farming for views until I can get my time up to be able to monetize what I'm doing, and then just continue building and growing what I'm doing. The next stop, I have $50. I'm going to try to get a drill so I can continue building a wagon. I could turn one of these trees into the axle and then I could take these pallets that have the curved bottoms, and then I could put one under it, and then that's will be enough for the axle to roll, and then I don't need the wheels to roll. I'll just have the axle roll, and I'll screw the wheels into the axle, and then I can build a shack that I can live inside that will be insulated with my new Bluetti power station that's coming. Then I can run my heater. It said I have 10 full charges on my phone, at least maybe 15 full charges on my phone before I need to go back into public to charge it. So that will give me, the next couple months I don't necessarily need to be in there at all. I can just go in at night and get my stuff and come back as I just continue working to save. I was trying to get a job, but nowhere has gotten back to me, the same as every other town. And the only places that would